in transition.
Multiple subs on the floor for the Bearcats. That's something by design for Wes Miller. He's still trying to find the right combination of players, the right frequency of substitution. Off the lob entry, controlled up top, Day Thomas, who he considers a 6th starter.
And we talked about both of these teams being 1-4 in the Big 12. Who's going to relocate? They're in the same neighborhood right now, John.
Probing dribble, kick corner, 3 to shoot. Tight defense, up fake, Reed for 3. Air ball caught first before shot clock violation.
Yeah, it's going to be a big point of emphasis, quality of shots, who can be more efficient, who can win some in terms of the turnover game and second chance points.
Stepping back, Freeman off target. How about Arizona State going 2 bigs here? Sean Phillips Jr. only plays 13 a game. Mitchell explodes up and 1. Facing one of the best shot blockers in America. He went right at Jaden Quaintance.
Yeah, when you look at Dylan Mitchell, he's a freak athlete, special player, you know, McDonald's All-American.
Well, the Bearcats have struggled at the stripe in percentage and just plain getting to the line. When we asked Wes Miller about that, he said, yes, that is a little bit of a point of emphasis. He wanted more paint touches for both Aronson Page and Dylan Mitchell. Get him in the box, get him at the line. Bearcat defense dynamite, the Arizona State offense explosive. Quaintance showing he's got dribble too. Trying to force it down the grain of the lane, out of bounds.
And see, with Quaintance in that situation, he's a young player, he's a freshman, 17 years old. When you're in close proximity in those situations, you have to take something off that pass.
Still getting that feel. Bobby.
Yeah, it's got to be more of a touch pass.
So Bobby Hurley there, his Sun Devils looking for their first true road win of the year. Off the screen. Oh, easy path, and then Quaintance closes quickly. Freeman behind a big Phillips screen. Miller, great pass, and what a swap by Page.
Beautiful high-low pass by Miller inside. And in those situations, it's key, Sean Phillips, use your shot fake here. You don't pump fake. You don't necessarily have to dunk the ball. Reverse layup on the other side.
Miller. Phillips furiously trying to post, single digits on the timer. Freeman, Euro, whistle. No shot on the floor. And that's going to be a second foul, excuse me.
Yeah, beautiful drive here.
This will go on Reed as his first. They are right on these shooters. Frederick giving no space. Dribble. Phillips drops the shoulder. Up and in.
The funny thing is, he had that same shot the first time. Made it a little bit more difficult.
Tip ball out of bounds.
So the great thing is they're getting Sean Phillips touches inside. Paint catches. Good body control here. Nice little job with the left-hand jump hook.
Well, Bobby Hurley's talked about how great his feet are, his hands, how explosive he can be. And Quaintance gets a breather. He goes to the bench for a thin Arizona State team that's without Josan Sannon for the 4th time in 5 games. An ankle injury. Page hit and fouled. That'll be the first on Phillips.
Yeah, nice little isolation play here. Here is Wes Miller. Had a nice time visiting with him on last night.
His team started 10-1 in non-conference, but began a Big 12 0-4, and now they're trying to make it back-to-back conference wins.
One of the things Wes Miller talked about is, you know, in terms of future recruits, he said, we develop here at Cincinnati.
Page, nice feed, extra pass, and Mitchell rises and finishes with a fury.
I don't know about you, John, but he looked like he's on the trampoline when he's cutting towards the basket.
He's been the offense early, 5 of 7 for the Bearcats, nearly matching the Sun Devils by himself. End-line drive, and it's Mitchell who denies and has it, and then gets hit. That'll be a second foul on Phillips. And Quaintance immediately goes to sub in.
Yeah, see, when you drive to the basket, that penetration, and you force help, nice cut from the corner. A lot of times, you know, teams want what we call baseline drive, baseline drift to the corner for a three, but unbelievable read by Dillon Mitchell to cut to the basket behind the defense.
So Quaintance back, I think, earlier than Bobby Hurley would have planned with a second foul on Phillips. Thomas. Reed picks it up. Page facing. Going against Jihad, isolated, falling away. Air ball, Quaintance. Tipped and taken away.
Yeah, Page thought he got...
Frederick wide open. And numbers for the Sun Devils. Bearcat tumbled down. What do you want to see this possession?
So now this will be a pick and roll situation here. Here it comes, right here in the middle of the floor. Trying to open up the court with shooters.
Mason with 6 on the timer.
And in that situation, you go under the pick and roll. That's a mistake. Mason is, you know, shooting 36% from 3.
Oh, Mitchell off the fake, got the shot blocker in the air, and Jihad on help hits him. And Bobby Hurley irate, barking at his bench. For those of you watching our free streaming coverage, it will conclude after the commercial break, but we will continue on CBS Sports Network. You can find us cbssportsnetwork.com/channel finder.
Get in transition. We talked about Arizona State in transition, but it's been Cincinnati. He knows, you know, he's not knocking down the threes at a high level. He's only shooting 29% from 3, but he can affect the game with his athleticism.
Yeah, you make a great point. Fast break points right now, 5 belong to the Bearcats, and it's Mitchell finishing, and he's finishing going right at the long shot blocking presence of Arizona State. So a foul before the break went on Bashir Jihad of Arizona State. That's his first. Already 5 fouls in Arizona State, just 2 on Cincinnati, and Mitchell at the line for a second time today.
And currently Arizona State's 2 for 6 from three-point line. We talked about with our fresh pet keys to the game, they got to make 10 or more threes because, you know, offensively, they do a really nice job of sucking the defense in, finding from a good shot to a great shot. And when you're on the road, taking care of the basketball and making threes are critical for Arizona State.
So Mitchell, who has struggled at the free throw line all year, 34%, hits 1 of 2. And Dan Skillings takes his spot. He has been the Bearcats' top scorer in league action. Mason off the Quaintance screen. They go under. Quaintance trying to cut. Bandango fronted him. Freeman, the zigzag dribble against Skillings. Over top, Bandango, tough look.
Yeah, you talk about Freeman, 26 points in his last game. This guy, you know, he's from Wisconsin, Milwaukee. He knows how to score. And with Sandin out, they're going to lean on him even more for scoring.
Skillings up fake on Quaintance, up fake again. Contested, rattles out. Some of the maturity that Quaintance has shown, when they got blown out by Florida, head fakes seemed to dupe him at that stage of the year. Not as much. Ali contested 3, hits heel, Bandango.
Bandango has it on those drives. He's got to cut more to the basket.
Skillings clanks Freeman weak side.
And look at Quaintance. This guy is just a ball of energy. Coach Hurley talked about, you know, they played an exhibition game. They got in at 2 o'clock in the morning, and guess what? He went straight to the gym.
Certainly has that drive, reads books on leadership in his free time. Sees the double. Jihad. Contested on the end line, 4 to shoot. 2 to shoot. He has to put it up. Quaintance, what a job to box out. And it rolls away. Jihad paws it out of bounds.
So here's a little 1-2-1-1 full court press. Arizona State trying to force a turnover, which they were successful. Arizona State, they'll run a little 1-3-1. They'll throw this little 1-2-1-1 press, just trying to give you a little bit of a curveball.
Jihad spinning into a double, loses handle out of bounds. Contact there from the Bearcats. Well, Skillings also shines as a defender. Adam Miller back in. They get a little smaller with Freeman subbing out.
And one of the points of emphasis for Arizona State offensively, the reason why they're posting up Jihad, he does a nice job of getting to the free throw line and putting the opposing team in the bonus, but he's been unsuccessful.
Loose on the deck, taken away by the Bearcats. Jizzle James trying to show the shake on Mason. Contested, fall away. Got it. He has been in a shooting funk. Wes Miller said it was a matter of when, not if, he would break out.
Yeah, Jizzle's been in the fizzle. I'm sorry. but no, that was an excellent move. And he's looking to really get back on track. He's got that capability. He's averaging 10.2 points a game.
Oh, and a bump off the up fake. Bandango's first.
Beautiful block from Bandago. And look at Jizzle. Fade away going to his left. Thinks he has a favorable matchup in those situations against Austin Mason.
Sun Devils can really score on the year, but this has been played at Cincinnati's pace.
And that's one of the things Coach Bobby Hurley warned us about. Can his team, if this game is played in the mid-50s, low 60s, can they be patient enough offensively, especially, to understand this game can be a grind?
He said, does my team know how to handle it if it turns into a rock fight?
Yeah.
Wide open. Amir Ali clanks. A lot of threes on both sides. Teams are combined now 2 for 17 from 3. Skillings try to throw it up, but miscommunication there with Bandango. Ali shovel. Mason off the fake, hangs, misses, rattles out.
And both guys got caught in the air a little bit.
James right at Jihad. Coast to coast.
And see, that's what you have to do. You have to go to score instead of driving the pass, which we saw in the previous 2 possessions. And then if the defense converges on you, you can make a short pass or a lob pass. I've been in those situations before.
Miller, long 3. Are they settling for some of these shots?
Absolutely. Don't fall in love with the 3, especially when you're on the road.
Lukosius, the deep triple. Timeout, Arizona State. It's a 7-0 run in 90 seconds.
Yeah, you can't fall in love with the 3. That's why you drive the ball to the basket. Jizzle James and then Seamus Lukosius, left hand from the 3. That's our fresh.
Hurley, a Duke disciple and alumnus. Wes Miller still very connected
to basketball. And then my buddy Bobby Hurley, we were talking about our high school days. He said he was 5'10", 165. I said, what about me? I was 5'4", 135 my senior year in high school. They used to call me Little 30. They only put me in the game when we were up by 30.
You're talking about that while looking at Jaden Quaitons, who at 17 years old is so physically impressive. Jihad pawed at and fouled by Frederick. Well, it's a 7-0 run for Cincinnati to claim this 4-point advantage. The lone make from deep for Cincinnati, part of it. Sun Devils haven't scored in almost 4 minutes.
And that's the one thing you want to avoid when you're on the road or even at home, just scoring droughts. You know, these games are real cyclical, so you want to stay out of those situations, and you can't score if you're turning the ball over.
Mitchell with the block, explosion, follow and finish. Tyler Betsy able to trail and tip it home.
I tell you what, the way Day Thomas attacked the basket in transition, we saw Jizzle James, you know, he's giving them a lift. Just the key for Cincinnati is where they're going to get consistent offense, and especially as we talked about now, fresh pet keys to the game, that 4th double-figure score.
Double with 4 on the timer. Jihad lost it off his own leg. 3.3 on the shot clock.
Yeah, the easiest time to get a fast break, obviously, is off of a steal. in transition. And where are the rest of your teammates in terms of Arizona State? You can't assume that the ball's going to go in the basket.
Lob tipped by Quaintance. Jihad near the horn, hits iron. And a good box by Lukosius. Frederick shaping up. Lukosius saw a seam. Oh, what a screen! He got the help from Dylan Mitchell to free him up.
That's one of those assists that doesn't show up on the stat sheet. Dylan Mitchell with the block out like he really wants the basketball, but that was really a glorified pick.
That's an 11-0 Cincinnati run. Miller. Sun Devils are explosive. They're capable of putting up a ton of points in a tight window. Kick. Up fake. 3 to shoot. Tip ball. Kick ball with 0.3 of a second, and the timer goes back to 20.
Yep. And
catch this Arizona State squad back in action. They take on West Virginia Tuesday at 9 Eastern, right here on CBS Sports Network.
And that's one of the things Coach Hurley talked to us about before the game, is travel patterns. They're leaving from here, going to West Virginia. That's something that he talked about to us pre-game, knowing when to leave Phoenix, and do you leave later, do you leave early, how early do you practice with the time change. So it's been an adjustment for him.
Entry to Mason. You see how they adjust offensively to this collapsing Cincinnati defense.
Yeah, trying to clear the side here for Mason. See, I just think instead of going inside to Jihad, just attack the basket versus the mismatch. His post-ups have been ineffective.
The offense has been slight on both sides. Bearcats a little more efficient of late. Thomas over Mason. Yes! 13-0 run. Do the Sun Devils need another timeout?
No, they're going to try to get to the mandatory here. But you notice, I'm really impressed with Day Thomas and Jizzle James from the point guard position. What about you, John?
Very much. They have driven the floor. Quaintance contested. There is a lid on that bucket. They haven't scored in over 6 minutes, and that's a relatively rare touch of late for Quaintance.
Yeah. Cincinnati scores on this possession. Bobby Hurley, I think, will call a timeout.
Frederick, rainbow!
Well, I guess not. And that's when you know your team. Coach Hurley knows his team. He's probably trying to say, look, I'm not going to necessarily bail you out. Play through this and get a bucket.
Freeman 3, that snaps a 6.5-minute scoreless stretch and a 16-0 run. Thomas.
Spacing not really good on this last possession for Cincinnati. Whenever you have two players standing next to each other, one defender can guard two players.
Oh, dumped down low, pin tight, good feed to Reed. 5 to shoot. Quaintance altered it. And a whistle.
I tell you what, Quaintance, he's a grown man. Man, you talking about somebody that's 17 years old. Look at this body. They have him listed at 6'9". He looks like he's 6'11". And I don't know, what, 260 pounds? Wow. This guy is built.
Foul to Reed, his second. Freeman hits side backboard. Tip is off glass. Tied up, jump ball. Arrow keeps it that way, and some extra little flair thereafter. You can feel the frustration for Freeman. He is their leading scorer on the year entering this game at 13.5 per.
Yeah, he's also second on the team in assists. You look at Freeman, this guy in the Horizon tournament, he was scoring 30 and 40 points a game, man.
Yeah. They're going to go to the monitors here, and you can see how fired up Freeman is. He was trying to chin and spin. Any contact that could come to the head or neck area is always a particular concern when you spin the elbows. It looked like his were down, though.
Yeah, I didn't really see anything here. Both going for the ball. Yeah, just got tied up. Yeah, this review should take 30 seconds.
Marquise Pettigrew, our lead official, who was an alternate at his first Final Four last year, joined by Brooks Wells and Tyler Kump. Most Bearcat edge, a 16-3 run in 5.5 minutes. How does Arizona State respond? You saw the boiling frustration for B.J. Freeman. There was no foul on the play. They did take a look, but just the held ball and the jump. So 12 on the timer, and it's Sun Devil possession in the front court.
And one of the things we got to continue to watch in terms of our fresh pick keys of the game, Cincinnati has 10 fast break points. Arizona State 1. So that's great in terms of Cincinnati's transition defense.
This is one of the more dire first halves for the Arizona State offense on the year. Jihad screen, over top goes James. 4 to shoot. Miller fouled. Tyler Betsy with his first.
And we know Cincinnati is a team that does an unbelievable job of playing defense without fouling.
And one of the best in the country. They lead the Big 12 just outside the top 10 of the country. Whistled only 13.5 times a game. And Miller converts.
Versus a team that loves to live at the free throw line.
And Miller is 77% free throw shooter. He's played in the Big 10. He's played in the SEC. He's played in the Pac-12. He's played in the Big 12. He gives that veteran experience on an otherwise younger Arizona State squad.
And as much as Arizona State's struggling to score, they're only shooting 19% from the field. You're not in a real bad position, down 8. You know, if you can keep this within 6 going into halftime.
Fandango lead for Skillings, who's been quiet. Snap to Thomas, rhythm 3. No. Skillings volleyballs it to Quaintance. Quaintance hasn't had many touches since the first few minutes.
No, and he gets most of his touches on rolls, isolations. Arizona State doesn't necessarily run plays for him to score. He's looking high, low here.
And a whistle. Coming up, AT&T at the half. Adam Zucker, Jay Wright, Reese Montgomery. We'll get you caught up on all the highlights from around college basketball. It all heads your way on AT&T at the half.
Jay who, John? Jay who? Jay Wright? Did you say Jay Wright?
Indeed.
Man, I'm still mad with him. He knocked me out of the NCAA tournament in 2018. We upset Virginia Tech. He knocks me out and goes on to win a championship. We could have won the championship back then. Still mad with Jay.
Yeah, see Lukosius sub back in. What were your favorite memories of that run?
Wow, you know, we had Colin Sexton, who's now playing in the NBA, Herb Jones. But when you look at Jay's team, Jalen Brunson, coach on the floor, Mikal Bridges, you know, all problem solvers.
Now, Jihad solving some problems with that free throw. It's a second foul on Betsy, so Jihad converts at the line. He has not had a field goal make yet. Those are his first 2 points of the game.
And now you have a limited amount of possessions left here with this under 3 in the first half. Who can get the most quality shots?
James a little flat. Jihad's got it. Alston Mason looked to the bench, and X crossed by Hurley for the play.
And you notice Coach Hurley is slowing the game down a little bit because, you know, their transition offensive game is not there after misses. So now he's trying to get them a little bit more organized on the offensive end and run some offense.
Freeman, 6 to shoot. Spinning in the lane, hangs and hits.
And that's the byproduct of that. Get the ball into Freeman's hands. Middle of the floor, that's a harder place to double team.
It's now a 9-0 run to make it a 4-point game. James probing dribble. Flicks onto the wing. 3-ball. Yes! Tyler Betsy drills it from deep. First points for the Bearcats in 3 minutes.
Yeah, and they're really, really high on Tyler Betsy. You know, we know he's been in a little bit of a shooting slump. 1 for 12, 0 for 3, 0 for 8 from threes in his last 4 games. Just need to see the ball go in the basket sometime.
Miller misses. Foul in pursuit of the loose ball.
And when you're talking about Tyler Betsy, when he started the season off, he was shooting over 50% from 3. And now, man, that's a pure stroke. Lots of potential.
Well, that's a big foul here. This goes on Jihad. He's got 2. What do you do with a little under 2 minutes until the break?
Yeah, you definitely got to take him out of the game.
He is out here and now. Could he come back maybe just for offense in a selective spot?
You will not see him until the second half.
Mitchell underneath. Skillings. Rolls in. First points of the game for the Bearcats' top scorer in league action.
Yeah, when you have a 9-point lead and your top scorer
tipped, sideline, out of bounds.
Yeah, beautiful drive here by Skilling Jr. A little hang time. Fortunately, his teammate didn't touch the ball on the rim. No Dylan Mitchell. He was waiting for that ball to come off a little bit more. Oh, still.
Phillips fresh to the fray, picked off by Mitchell. Lead Lukosius.
That's his spot. Lob.
Bendango. A 10-0 run, the biggest lead of the game. High kiss make.
And now Cincinnati want to slow it down. One shot. They want to take the last shot here. In this situation.
Timeout.
Wow. Arizona State was just down by 4.
We'll step aside, a 30 of our own. Bearcats have the ball, up a dozen. Run by Cincinnati, a 34-22 lead. Let's take a look at the last couple of buckets.
Yeah, on defense, you try to get 3 out of 5 stops, but offensively, if you can score consecutive baskets in this game, especially when both teams are struggling to score, get out in transition, steals, convert off turnovers. Fantastic job by the Cincinnati Bearcats.
Timer off. What a stark contrast in shooting. One of the worst first halves for Arizona State's offense on the year.
Yeah, this will be a middle pick and roll. They want to start this with about 7 seconds. Here comes the pick and roll.
Thomas, 4 seconds, elbow J, got it. And they don't even get the ball in clean, no shots. It's a 12-2 run to close the half.
Yeah, beautiful execution. Here comes, was very unsuccessful. So we'll see what's their point of attack. I would definitely get the ball to Freeman in the middle of the floor.
Jizzle James, that's his 3rd make from the field already. He had been ice cold, particularly from deep in league action. Anticipated, taken away by Mitchell.
That's a foul.
Arizona State, numbers. Mason. They reset. Sun Devils 0-3 in true road games on the year.
Yeah, I think they got to get Quaintance down underneath the basket ceiling right here. That's where he needs to be.
Fights through, yes, and contact.
I didn't even send this text to Arizona State for him at the half, but that's, hey, get the ball to the young fella now underneath the basket. He's got unbelievable hands. Nice touch. He missed a couple early around the basket.
Up and in, so the and one complete. That foul went on Mitchell as his second. It's a rare time that Arizona State can apply pressure.
Yep, and that's that 1-2-1-1 press. Here's a 2-on-1 at the basket.
James explodes right at Quaintance. He's got 8.
I just love the combination of Jizzle James and Day-Day Thomas in this game. Playing under control, doing a nice job of taking care of the basketball. They only have 1 turnover between them.
Mason, 10 on the timer. Miller rise and miss. Bandego rips it away from Quaintance' probing hand.
Nice closeout in that situation by Austin Mason. He understands that's a hot spot for Cincinnati in transition, that left 3-point wing shot.
Skilling's got hit en route by Adam Miller. That's his first. The Skillings came to basketball late. Only started playing organized hoops early stage of high school. In fact, during recruitment, he had to ask his high school coach, is this school good? Do they have some history? At one point, there was a FaceTime chat with Wes Miller, who happened to be with his head coach, Roy Williams. And Skillings had no idea who he was. Had to find out after the call. Lukosius fallen away, in and out. Kick corner, Skillings screaming for it on high.
Now you got this court wide open.
James, mid-range, having himself a day.
Who said the mid-range was outdated?
Alive and well for Jizzle James, the second Bearcat to double digits. Sun Devils in dire need of scores. Freeman isolated, jab step.
But you notice in this isolation.
Oh, nice feed, Jihad, tight underneath, what a shot.
Beautiful cut in that situation. Cincinnati's defense got ball. They were ball watching a little bit. And when you're on that weak side, you have to see man and ball. You got to be in the defensive stands. One of the rare defensive lapses for Cincinnati.
Skillings out of the quarter. Bandego trying to shape up. Now screens for Lukosius. Quick closeout by Miller. Sees a seam end line and gets hit. And that'll be Miller with a second.
Yeah, so here's the nice little pull up by Jizzle James, and beautiful cut by Jihad behind the basket with the nice reverse left-handed shot. I love when players use both hands around the basket.
Lob to Mitchell. Drop step and kick. This is something Cincinnati worked on, baseline out of bounds, quite a bit at practice yesterday. They wanted that lob in the middle. Mitchell trying to muscle, give it the one-on-one. Bully ball.
And that situation, you know, B.J. Freeman, he's got to hold his ground. But where's the help from the weak side in terms of, you know, defense protecting and having that last line of defense? There was nobody there to rescue him.
Quaintance on the spin. Brilliant flick. Mason off. Tapped. Quaintance kick. Freeman wide open. Got it.
Quaintance is really having an impact on this game. Getting his hand on balls, loose balls. Nice old-fashioned three-point play around the basket. Makes the two-point shot plus the free throw.
James, Mitchell off the fake. Driving on Quaintance. Loses handle. Freeman surveys, picked up by Skillings. Quaintance wants it on the block. Getting three-quartered hard. Jihad. Miller stepping back. Got it. Back-to-back triples for the Sun Devils. Timeout, Cincinnati.
And we know it in basketball. There are no 14 and 17-point plays, but you got to play to your strengths. And one of the big keys is Arizona State on the road, knocking down the three-point shots, find the open man, and when the defense makes a mistake, make them pay. Red zone, and when you get that 1 o'clock in the morning phone call saying, hey, we have to evacuate her and her husband, it's a scary feeling, but fortunately she's okay. But so many folks' lives are turned upside down, and prayers, and I hope folks donate and get involved and help people as much as you can.
Amen. Well, Cincinnati out of its called timeout, couple of triple makes for the Sun Devils to claw back within 11. And Wes Miller said a run would come from Arizona State. And his question was, could his team match the scoring?
And you know, with Cincinnati, they don't want to play in the 80s right now in this game. They want to play their game. They want to play to their identity and not have an identity crisis.
Mitchell to Frederick, has to hoist. Off rim, whistle and foul in pursuit of the loose ball.
And one of the things Coach Miller talked about with C.J. Frederick, he said this guy, you know, he's fought a ton of energies, but he's getting healthy.
We'll step aside. They'll talk it over. An 11-point difference here in Cincinnati. You're watching college basketball on CBS Sports Network, presented by Freshman.
Starts with Jizzle James. His mid-range game has been on point. He's got crazy work ethic. This kid's strong physically. He's like a fullback if he was playing football. But he's been amazing today. 10 points, very efficient.
Well, he is the son of Edgerrin James, outstanding running back in his own right. His full given name, Edgerrin James Jr. His first time in double digits in 5 games. Mason puts it up. And it's one underneath by Page.
And those are the little easy shots that Arizona State missed to start the game, and it's continued here in the second half.
And they are very thin, remember. Page trying to drive on Quaintance, puts it up. Hits heel, won by Quaintance. They are without, yet again, Josan Sannon, 4th time in 5 games, dynamite shooter, super talented freshman, and explosive scorer. He's out with an ankle. Freeman, poetic, and Quaintance follows.
Hey, Quaintance, there are not many people in college basketball that can tip the ball like that with that touch inside over a defender. This kid's, I'm just so impressed with him. Physically, you talked about how he likes to read books. He's not a kid that just plays video games. He wants to be a great leader, so he reads a lot of books on leadership.
Mitchell showing off the footwork. He's having a strong game. He is the 3rd Bearcat to double figures, and that was one of your keys to get 4 or more to 10 plus.
Yes.
Quaintance, purposeful pause, and then the dunk.
And remember, early in the game, we talked about Sean Phillips Jr. from Arizona State, the backup big in those situations, pump faking. And now Quaintance did a nice job of executing.
They dared him to shoot, and he clanks it. Miller's got it.
They're going to live with Mitchell shooting those shots. That's part of Arizona State's defensive strategy. They're not closing towards him behind the three-point line. They're going to close out short, I'm sorry.
This is a game, Avery, that the Bearcats have largely dominated, and yet it's single-digit difference. Back door. Oh, what a feed, what a cut. Mason scores.
Beautiful basketball. Lifted the weak side. When you have big guys that can pass from the elbow or on top of the key, it just adds something to your offense.
Thomas. Long 2. Freeman's got it.
Doesn't it seem like Cincinnati should be up by more than 7 points?
Yes. Freeman contested in and out. I think you're exactly right, and the window is there for the Sun Devils. Page trying to shape up. Quaintance plays behind him. Multiple subs at the table for Cincinnati.
You know, since the coaches and Jizzle James have gone to the bench, Cincinnati struggled to score.
Mitchell, Jihad able to control it.
Arizona State's resigned to the fact that they're not bringing over any help. When Mitchell or Page post up, they're going to play them what we call single coverage. No help.
Ball a little flat here. Mason on high. 3-ball.
And could have gotten fouled in that situation. Wow. Arizona State still in this game, down 4.
A 15-2 run in 4.5 minutes. Out of bounds, it'll stay that way.
There's timeout on the floor.
We always talk about the beautiful game of basketball, and when you can go back door and score, Arizona State's still in it, down 4.
All of UNLV Wyoming the next night. Dan Skillings has the ball here, guarded by Quaintance. That's been a matchup we've seen. Quaintance can guard 1 through 5. Lukosius, 5 to shoot, contested short. Phillips has it as Arizona State goes back to 2 bigs.
Yeah, and the interior defense of Quaintance has been problematic for Cincinnati. In those situations, you got to look for your big to make that short pass. The bigs can't hide.
And trying to force that one, taken away by Skillings. Lukosius, extra pass. James low to the corner. No. Weak side Phillips.
And unlike Jihad, Quaintance, they're not going to guard him at the three-point line, so that backdoor pass probably won't be available.
Air ball chant from the students behind the bucket. There's a lot of time left in this game.
You know, and if you're Arizona State with, under 11 minutes to go, you're not really in a bad position considering the way you shot the ball.
Skillings hit by Phillips. That'll be his 3rd. Phillips picked up his 2nd at the 13-minute mark in the first half. It was buried on the bench thereafter. Got some early extended time.
Yeah, a lot of times when you're late, not a great closeout here. Beautiful job of Skilling Jr. to attack the big and get to the free throw line.
Only a couple of points today. He's really shined from deep in league action. Not only leading the team, the only man in double figures at 14.5 per, but shooting nearly 50% from outside in league action. That hasn't quite been part of the rhythm today. 1 of 6 from the field, 0 for 3 from deep.
Yeah, he makes tough shots. He's the guy that brings the physicality, not just on the defensive end, but on the offensive end.
An excellent offensive rebounder.
So where does Arizona State go in this situation for offense with the 2 bigs on the floor? It's not going to be as much spacing because you don't have any three-point shooting at the 4 and 5 spot.
Freeman surveys. Quaintance a mismatch against Lukosius. Kick corner, rejected. Thomas swats out of bounds, 7 to shoot. Betsy was set to come back in. He will not.
So now this is Arizona State's thumb upset. They're going to try to look for one of the bigs going towards the basket here. And the corner three-point shot. Couldn't quite get there.
4 to shoot. Miller picks it up. He needs to put it up. He does. Rattles out. One-handed by Phillips. High kiss miss. Out of bounds off Skillings.
So yes, and that last beneath under bounds play, out of bounds play, they want to try to get, one of the big guys, specifically Phillips Jr. going to the basket or Quaintance, and then get a shooter coming out. Now this is a little flex action here.
Quaintance matched up with Lukosius. That's the draw Phillips against Bendigo.
Got to stay away from this sideline with this pick and roll.
6 to shoot. Mason opposite. Freeman striding. Rejected. Bendigo put back. Banker. Phillips at the horn. Oh, and then writhing in pain on the ground, clutching at his right knee is B.J. Freeman. He is screaming in pain. Athletic trainers race over.
Yeah. Oh. Looked like he came down pretty awkward on his right knee, unfortunately.
And he is in incredible pain. He is writhing on the floor. Near heart pains for him right now.
Yeah, he came down pretty awkward, and all of his weight went on his right knee, it looked like.
Here's another angle, trying to go at Bendigo. Ooh. And B.J. Freeman, who entered as Arizona State's top scorer. Remember, they're without Josan Sannon, who's been out 4 or 5 now with an ankle injury.
Yeah.
They lost Austin Nunez for the year with a foot injury. He had surgery. Brandon Gardner hasn't played, the USC transfer, a violation of team rules. They're very thin.
Yeah, and he's in excruciating pain underneath the basket. Man, this is heartbreaking.
I mean, not only the pain here and now, but you always have the worry, certainly as the player in that moment. What could it mean beyond this? And his head coach, Bobby Hurley, comes over.
Yeah, and I think basically the way he's reacting, let's see if he can put any weight on it.
This is scary, and he needs a lot of help. He's putting no weight on that right foot.
And you're talking about, you know, a guy that had 26 points in their last game. And they definitely need his offensive production, but now his health and well-being is the most important thing.
So he rather gingerly strides back toward the locker room. Our thoughts with him for his health. Amir Ali will take his spot from now, and that also means that Bobby Hurley may have to insert his latest addition. They're so thin. Trevor Best just joined the team. He's only practiced 4 times, has not played as a collegian. He left high school early, former high school teammate of Jaden Quaintance. Like Quaintance, he's only 17 years old. Well, Skillings with a lot of time left, 9.5 to go.
They're still got a lot of time. You're only down 4 on the road. But the point guard play from Cincinnati has been exceptional.
Air ball, Bendago behind his back, Skillings. They reset the timer. It's a shot clock violation. That's a good call. Our lead official, Marquise Pettigrew, immediately tapped his head.
Well, you should have been the 4th official, John, on the court. You called it before the officials. Way to go, partner.
That was a heck of a save by Bendago, but there was no time.
Now we'll see how Arizona State responds, especially offensively, now that one of their top scorers, or leading scorers.
Bad pass, Lukosius numbers for the Bearcats. James kick, Lukosius, rhythm 3. Weak side, won by the Bearcats. Skillings, knifes in line.
Tough shot.
And a foul.
When you're in that situation and someone's underneath the basket, don't bail them out. That's not a great time to foul.
And that's now 4 fouls on Phillips. So the thin nature of Arizona State's team is getting a really tough test here. Now it's a good sign. Freeman is back on the bench, and he's getting a brace put on his right knee. He's on the extreme end chair behind Bobby Hurley, and the athletic trainer is affixing a brace to his right knee.
That would be a huge emotional lift for his teammates, just knowing that he's back on the bench. Wow.
And you can see the grimace there still.
Yeah, I don't know if that's a brace to come back in the game, more or less, you know, in terms of treatment. Yeah, it may be like a little stem treatment. Look at the foul situation. You talked about Arizona State, but Cincinnati's right on cue. They're playing defense without fouling, only 2 team fouls.
Jihad is back. Phillips on the bench with 4 fouls. Quaintance against Bendago. Ali behind the Jihad screen. Betsy over top. 9 to shoot. 4 to shoot.
He's got to take the shot.
Ali in and out. Thomas.
Yeah, but Ali had a better shot earlier in that possession.
Skillings probing. In and out. Quaintance over top. Skillings has it rejected. Out of bounds.
I don't know if Skillings read the scouting report. When you look at Quaintance, this guy, we talk about blocks and steals. Look at him inside.
That is his 5th block. And he's going to sub out, and here comes Freeman. So Freeman is back in the game. Bendago out, Mitchell back.
Yeah, Quaintance leads the Big 12 in blocks. He's 3rd in Division I coming into this game with 49 blocks.
He's now 1 block away from tying the single season program record for a freshman. It's January 18th. Dead ball means immediate.
Oh, had him back door, missed him.
2 to shoot, forced to heave. Rebound Bearcats, they reset.
Nice job in that situation by Mitchell. Got away with a little push off.
What a fake! flush. That'll be a foul on Jihad. That'll be his third. We'll step aside. Physicality ratcheting up. The Sun Devils' depth getting tested. A 5-point affair. A bucket away from a double-double. He's got 8 points, 12 boards, 5 blocks, and Cincinnati hasn't hit a field goal in over 6.5 minutes. Wes Miller's offense has gone dormant. Sun Devils have drawn within 5. It was a 17-point lead at one point for Cincinnati.
And I believe Cincinnati would have that fourth guy in double figures if they had their leading scorer, Skillings, if he wasn't 1 for 8.
Here's Skillings at the line, trying to add to his 5 so far. And misfires on the first. So Quainton's on the bench for now, a chance to get some rest. I know he's very young, but he's playing a lot of minutes. 6-point game.
So remember, we talked about, from a defensive standpoint, can you string together 2 stops in a row? It's critical at this juncture in the game when you're either trying to protect a 6-point lead or you're down 6.
Jihad given the isolation, attacking Mitchell, bucket.
So right now, Cincinnati's 0 for 1 on defensively.
And Quainton's ready to sub in. Skillings on the drive, blocking foul on Freeman.
And see on this last play, this isolation in the middle of the floor. You have shooters spreading the floor out, and it gave Jihad an opportunity to drive to the basket and put a lot of defense, with pressure on the Cincinnati.
Now that foul to Freeman, his second, but the team's 6th. So the Bearcats are going to have bonus rest of the way. Quainton's back for Arizona State. Vendego returns for Cincinnati.
But you notice Skillings has been very aggressive on these last 2 possessions.
5 of the 7 points at the line, making 6 of his 8. A little bit of pad. Arizona State, a very capable, explosive offense. Coming off a wild shootout loss to UCF, 95-89. Mason going right at Mitchell. High kiss miss. Quainton flushes it home.
Seems like he gets every loose ball.
He's got a double-double now with 10 and 12.
But he plays the game with a lot of joy.
He certainly has that. And he loves playing defense. He's not your traditional shot blocker. He can guard every position, get some blocks on help. Skillings, Jihad tip, Freeman's got it. Can they make it a 1-possession game from down 17?
And man, just to see Freeman back in the game, wow. To get carried off the court and he's back. Maybe that right knee, that was a major stinger or something.
Skillings steal. Flush it home.
Skilling has really come alive here in the last several possessions down the floor.
Quainton's driving. Tumbling on the ground, able to maintain travel.
Now, once you miss, you got to get that loose ball. Quainton's is going to be coming to the basket, creating space. And now the steal here from Skillings. He said, "You guys needed me in double figures. I'm going to join the party."
Well, joining the party now, Lukosius is back. His 10 points all came in the first half. He's coming off his lone prior double-digit scoring game in league action when he led them in their first league win against Colorado.
So now they're trying to get a little bit of a stagger.
Lukosius on high, deep 3. Long board to Thomas. Frederick steps into it. Got it! Bobby Hurley saying, go up the floor. Timeout, Arizona State.
Okay.
Collegian C.J. Frederick Jr. with a big three.
Yeah, it's a kid that played at Kentucky for 2 years, Iowa for 3 years, so he knows how to play, very experienced. Coach Miller talked about he gave them a major lift in their last game on the road to win their first Big 12 game. He's been fighting injuries, but he's getting healthy. And if nothing else, when he's on the floor, he draws attention to create space for his teammates.
Bobby Hurley was on fire as we went to break, screaming to get up the floor and call a timeout. It was an animated huddle. Time ticking on the road. Quaintance on the cut. Could not get it to drop. Frederick on the wing, who led the Big Ten in outside shooting as a freshman many years ago. Thomas bumped, loses handle out of bounds.
So in that last drive by Quaintance, looked like he got grabbed around the waist a little bit. But, you know, when you're on the road, sometimes you really don't get those calls. You got to play through it. This kid never makes excuses. He just plays. He doesn't look at the officials, raises his hands with this poor me look. He just stays focused for such a young man.
Jihad on the spin. Fake, puts it up, draws the foul. That'll be 3 on Dylan Mitchell.
And that's what you want if you're Arizona State. You want to try to draw some fouls, stop the clock, go to the free throw line, make your free throws.
Well, Jihad averages almost 13 a game. He gets a lot of it at the line. He's top 5 in the Big 12 and takes and makes it the stride. This is only his second trip to the free throw line all game. And now he's 3 for 3. And James back in for Thomas. Hey, you were on it early, Coach. Jizzle James was a difference maker early in the game and has been since.
Yeah, they definitely need him in terms of his ball handling ability, making the right play. He thinks he has an advantage in a one-on-one situation when Austin Mason is guarding him, #1 for Arizona State. So we'll see if they go a little bit bigger on James.
Foul concern of the game. Phillips has been on the bench with 4 for some time. Able to get across against that pressure, just beating the 10-second mark. Mitchell. Bandego.
6 seconds on the clock.
Alley-oop, Frederick! And Mitchell hammers it home! Mason, rejected, swatted down to the ground, out of bounds.
So a lot of times coaches have a little play that they don't run often in their back pocket. And this was one that Coach Miller was saving. And Mitchell for the lob. Cincinnati at home by 9.
At Kansas, a loss at Gonzaga. 8 to shoot on entry. Freeman contested by Lukosius, in and out. And Lukosius stepped out of bounds. It's Sun Devil ball, timer 20.
I'm just happy, even though Freeman missed that shot, I'm just thrilled that he's back on the court. Because the way he came down on that right knee, we thought he was going to be out for the game, the way they carried him off the floor. Or for the year, right?
That very well could be. It was a scary scene. Quaintance rattles it in. The time is ticking. Can they turn over the Bearcats?
Cincinnati with only 5 turnovers today. And if you're Cincinnati, you want to always get a shot at the basket, even if you miss it, because if you miss it, you can get an offensive rebound, free throw line.
Quaintance with his second, and it's 7 fouls. It's bonus time, 1-1.
It's bonus time. But here again, true to their identity, Cincinnati, with 2 minutes and 46 seconds left in this game, only have 3 team fouls.
Now, the Bearcats have been dreadful at the line in terms of percentages, takes and makes, second worst in the Big 12 in all areas. But Day Thomas is one of their best, 80% on the year, just over that on his career. He was a top 5 JUCO recruit when he arrived last year from Kilgore College. He is called the team's 6th starter by his head man, Wes Miller. He started for him last year before he got hurt in the NIT.
And I asked Coach Miller to describe Day in 2 words. He said, tough, compete. That's it.
2:45 to go here in the second half. A 61-52 lead. Cincinnati's lead at one point ballooned to 17. Arizona State drew within 4. Now they had entered the ball and then a whistle. They're going to reset entry here, length of the floor. Alston Mason brings it up. Time not on the side of Arizona State. Take it away, Mitchell! Exclamation point! That could be the dagger dunk. And a foul.
On our CBS Inside College Basketball. This will be one of the highlights. Wow. That's dunk contest worthy.
Should we get the cards out? Do we have to?
Oh, I know what you're going to do, John. You're going to give him a 9.5.
I always give love, especially for things that I can never hope to do. Mason for 3. No. Skilling's weak side. That last foul went to Bandego as he now has 2.
The clock is your friend. So if you're Cincinnati, you want to attempt this shot under 10 seconds on the shot clock.
High kiss banker miss. Jihad under 2 minutes. Armed with 2 timeouts. Quainton's asking for the ball. But at what point with the math do they need 3s? Quainton's pawed at.
Arizona State just had.
Mason and 1. That'll freeze the clock.
Beautiful drive here by Mason. Day Thomas is trying to slow him down, and nice job playing through contact here.
Well, the foul to Thomas, his first.
Yeah, James was out of position. Jizzle James could have slid in and taken a charge there, but got pushed out of the play.
And 1. So Mitchell out, Lukosius in.
Yep, this is offense, defense. So you get your best free throw shooters in, and
Skilling surrounded, hounded, and it's Arizona State ball. Only 4 seconds off the clock and they get a possession.
They're going to review this.
Yeah, that's exactly right. The twirl of the index finger, they're going to take a look.
Yeah, and when you catch the ball versus a press, you can't hold the ball in the air above your shoulders. You have to chin it right below your chin. Really be in a strong position with the ball. Force the defense to grab your arms. Look at this situation here with Skilling.
It looks like it goes off Skilling's foot. I think this is going to be Arizona State ball.
Yeah, when he's in a defensive position there.
See Bobby Hurley showing off that right sneak. So what's the talk in each huddle? A little over 90 seconds left. 8-point game, Sun Devil ball, assuming it holds up to review.
Yeah, if it's Arizona State's ball, they want to get the ball in. They'll run a quick pick and roll, going downhill for a traditional 3-point play at the basket.
And they do confirm it is Sun Devil ball.
If Cincinnati commits 2 to the ball, then look for Arizona State to look for a 3. But right now, this will be some sort of a quick drive to the basket. Maybe instead of setting a pick and roll, some sort of a slip once they inbound the ball. But you got to inbound the ball cleanly here.
And this is a tough spot to inbound the ball.
Yeah, not a great spot.
Tipped out of bounds by Skillings. Still 1:32 on the game clock.
Yeah, they're going to have to throw this ball somewhere near the sideline by their bench to try to get it in clean.
This is one of the toughest spots.
There it is, right there.
Quaintance.
Yep, here's your quick drive.
Puts it up, and he'll go to the line, freeze the clock again. Now, he has struggled at the stripe 50% on the year.
And what did that play take, John? About 5 seconds or less?
Yeah, less than, it was 1:32, now 1:28. So the foul to Bandego is his third. 2 of 3 today on the year, and even 50%. Huge free throws here for the freshman. Miss. Wes Miller saying box out.
Yeah, he's shooting 50% from the line, so you got to really, if you're Cincinnati.
He makes Lukosius back, offense, defense. Again for Mitchell.
Now we'll see what Cincinnati learned from their last time turning the ball over. Once you catch the ball, you got to pivot and look for the open man if you draw 2 defenders on you.
Could not get it in cleanly, forced to call a timeout. Now, Bearcats have 1, Sun Devils have 2. And it is bonus both teams rest of the way.
So I've been in this situation a million times. So if I'm Cincinnati, I'll try to give a first look to one of those 3 guys in the front. But this is the easiest time for one of your back offensive players to break and throw the ball towards half court.
There's still a lot of time left in this game. And that's, as mentioned, the really struggling shooting year for the Bearcats at the line. Under 64%, 10 of 13 on the day. That's thanks in part to the personnel that's been at the line. Day Thomas, one of their better free throw shooters. Skillings has had a better day than most, offsetting his poor shooting from the field. Now Lukosius trigger to James.
Throw it right back to the middle. There it is. Oh, he traveled. He traveled.
And that's the call. Turnover. That's another turnover on entry.
And in this situation, if you're Day Thomas, when you catch the ball, you're not really in a hurry. You have to come to a 2-foot jump stop before you decide what you're going to do. You eliminate the travel call.
2 of the 7 turnovers coming the last 2 possessions. Trying to put away Arizona State. Sun Devils still showing life. Jihad. Mason, timer ticking. Mason in the lane. Miss. Bandego's got it.
Yeah, they had a little bit of a pick and pop 3.
Shovel to Skillings. Reverse.
That very well could have been the backbreaker.
Miller, that's tipped. Jihad has to hoist. They're running out of time.
And they got to shoot 3s. You got to kick the ball out.
Quaintance and 1.
Cincinnati's been terrific on fast break points all game long. Nice reverse here by Skillings. Cincinnati has gotten their four players in double figures, which was a major key to the game today.
Bandego's got 4 fouls. Quaintance 3 of 5 at the line today. Critical and 1. And he misses. Bandego's had it. Tie up jump ball. And it's going to be Arizona State ball. Bobby Hurley wants a timeout. A 7-point difference with just under 40 seconds remaining. 2 critical giveaways the last couple of possessions for the Bearcats.
And there's been turnovers on press offense. You know, you're in these situations, you're trying to protect the lead. So you're not strong with the ball here, Skillings, and then you're running, you know, he doesn't have to catch a flight. Some people have to catch a flight, so they're going to be running and scrambling to catch a flight. You're not going anywhere. You're home.
The turnover mark on the half. So now each team armed with one timeout. It is bonus rest of the way. They talk it over in huddle.
Tell you what, we were talking a nice dinner over last night. Ooh, that was really good.
A fantastic time at Boca. Kind thanks for having us. A chance for the crew to be together and the hospitality of Cincinnati. That's 12,000 strong that are in this building that's been flush for most of the day. Bearcats looking for their second win in league action. Arizona State the same. If the Sun Devils fall, they would begin conference play 1-5 for the first time in 4 years. It was the Pac-12. They began 1-5 in 2021. They're trying to avoid their first 7-game road losing streak since that same year. These are their outside shooters. Miller is their best, and you believe they need threes.
They need threes, or old-fashioned threes. And if you're Cincinnati, the one thing you don't want to do is foul.
Freeman. Quaintance carves out space, and he gets the bucket.
And that's the play that Cincinnati loves. They're basically ducking Quaintance in like he wants the ball, but it's actually a screen. So watch here. So he does what we call a duck in. We'll get it right here at the end. You see him ducking in, and now it forces Cincinnati players to run into each other. If you're Cincinnati, Bandego is on the wrong side. You don't need to be fronting anybody at the free throw line. So he was out of position, which the byproduct of that was Arizona State gets an easy, quick basket.
So 1-1 bonus for both teams. Each has 7 fouls. The arrow now favors the Bearcats. Arizona State has the only timeout remaining here in regulation with 36.8 seconds remaining. The lead ballooned to 17 for the Bearcats. Arizona State has been able to hang in at long stretches, but has played a very disjointed offensive game.
And we were raving about Cincinnati's ball security, but in the last, minute and, under a minute, they've had 2 critical turnovers.
Plus the held ball where they lost it on the arrow.
Great point.
So no timeouts, though, for the Bearcats. And you have to think this will be the most intense pressure Arizona State has shown in the game. It's been befuddling for Bobby Hurley, who's talked about how they have had what he believes is a top 40 defense in the country. Ken Pom would have backed that up through non-league. It hasn't transitioned into conference play.
One of the things I love is when coaches allow me to speak to their teams. And one of my talking points is embracing adversity. So this is adversity for Cincinnati. You have to embrace this press. You have to want it. You have to want the ball and make the right decisions when you get it.
Double comes. Pass out of it, James. Hit and fouled. Freeman clutching at his face as he tumbles down to the floor. For those of you tuning in for Loyola Chicago Dayton, you'll find it streaming free on the CBS Sports app or at cbssports.com/CBSSN as soon as it tips off. And of course, we'll get you out there immediately following the conclusion of the game. A foul to Jihad, that is his 4th. So 1-1 for James. 65% this year. He was just under 80% a year ago. His first free throws today. Critical 1-1, gets it. Makes it a 6-point game. Mitchell to the table, free throw make, Mitchell in, Lukosius out.
Now we'll see what happens here with Arizona State. With 31 seconds, I believe you need some sort of offensive set here where you're definitely intentionally trying to shoot a 3-point shot.
They save time by rolling entry. Mason up top, Jihad. Mason fell down. And they turn it over and a foul.
Yeah, it looked like Mason twisted his left ankle. Hopefully he's okay. He gets up, so.
And he is grimacing visibly, putting little weight initially on that left foot.
Oh, he got stepped on. Yeah, Dylan Mitchell stepped on his left foot.
And Mason limps down to the other end. Bandego has improved his free throw shooting markedly. 55% a year ago. He's just under 70 this season.
You notice here a little bit in the last, 2 minutes or so since B.J. Freeman has returned, really hasn't touched the ball much.
20 seconds. Could he get a touch here? Visible limp still for Mason. Miller contested, rejected. Tipped up top. Jihad has to shoot. And a double dribble. A critical giveaway. You don't see that often in D1 basketball. James back in.
Yeah.
And there's no pressure. No. Arizona State concedes. Bearcats began league play 0-4. They have won back-to-back conference affairs. Arizona State, winless on the road, has lost 4 in a row. That's all.